Robert Dussay said, you people who've gone to school, you think wisdom is in the classroom. No. Wisdom is most certainly not in the classroom. It isn't. That is why we say there's a fie jansan and there's school jansan. In other words, there is sense in the home and there's sense in classroom. And don't think that because somebody hasn't gone to school, that person can get no sense. The person is loaded with wisdom. Are we prepared to learn from them? No, because we're better than them. And that is the reason why we are floundering. And unfortunately, we are retrogressing because we've lost our value system. We are not confident. We are not dignified. We cannot express ourselves very, very well. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to go back and begin to tease what the problem is. If I ask how many of you lived with your grandparents, there'll be a lot of silence in this room. Unfortunately, in our culture, if you're old and poor, you're a witch or a wizard. And families today shun the company of grandparents. But that is where the knowledge is. And I would say that good old the name is just gone, who said that you challenge indigenous knowledge at your peril. Indigenous knowledge is knowledge. This is Dr. Okuampofo. Indigenous knowledge is knowledge that has stood the test of time. If you learn from your grandparents, the stories you're told is about heroes and heroines in your culture. That is how you build confidence. You don't build confidence by learning somebody's heroes and heroines. They don't look anything like you. We are not confident. We are not dignified in ourselves. And that is why corruption is probably the number one thing that happens in this country. Because everybody just wants money. Money is the only currency that an uncultured, an unvalued human being wants. If you value, if you have dignity, if you have confidence, money is not your currency. So we've lost it. Even in medicine, you must read the history of medicine. You must read pretty much everything. Nobody's researching. We have several faculties of pharmacy. How many of them are researching into our herbal pharmacopoeia? No. You're training pharmacists to come and count paracetamol. That is not how many years, 4 years, or now 6 years of university education. If they had done research on Philanthus neruli, for example, it is a regular herb in everybody's backyard. It is called abomeguechi. Believe you me, it's a powerful wellness drug. It is described in the literature as stone breaker. So if you use that for green tea, you don't develop kidney stones, you don't develop gallbladder stones. That is, it's a herb. Nobody gives them about it. So there is a lot in our backyard that we don't know. But if you don't know what is in your backyard, how dare you go out of your backyard to go and look for what? Knowledge where? You don't even interact with your grandmother. You don't know what your grandmother knows. And in our typical folklore, we represent the past, today, and the future. That is the African trilogy. We all come from our ancestors, and therefore we pour libation to our ancestors. We don't know what our ancestors knew. We don't. So what do we know today? What have we added to the knowledge passed on by our ancestors? And if you don't know what your ancestors knew, what have you added? So what is there for the future population? And that is the reason why today Galamsey is killing us. Because the people of today want all the gold out of Ghana. But people lived in Ghana many years before this current generation. Why did they leave the gold there? Or you think they didn't know there was gold there? They knew. But there was a valued system that we have lost all those values.